This week's scenario is Recon from the 2016 Steamroller packet. This scenario does not have the Killbox artifact and consists of a single zone which can be controlled for 1 CP or dominated for 2 CPs after the enemy objective has been destroyed or removed from play for 1 CP. There are also 2 flags in the scenario. Each can be dominated for 1 CP. Victory condition consists of 5 control points or caster assassination.
Pokey here, and I decided to take Archdomina Makeda and try out a Hydra list. Now you can see that I have pretty much most of the bugs, Legends of Halaak, and minion to beast handlers, plus the Master Tormentor.
Hey everyone, this is Gaston, and today I'm playing Epic Vyros in the Theme Force Forges of War. If you're sitting here like, hey, this looks really similar to last week, Pokey and I did indeed do a double header, so it was a whole night of Vyros recordings. I went ahead and used this theme because it's jack heavy and he likes a very jack heavy build, so they seem to match very well.
Alright, I ended up going first this game, and I kind of figured with how small my list was, I would probably just go ahead and angle myself just for the center of the table. And so I placed everything for the center.
Fortunately, I did not get to go first. He happened to win the roll-off, so it's a little bit sad for me. What I ended up doing is I ended up putting Helios on the side that doesn't have him approaching the wall, because I figure, things would be hiding behind a wall is going to make it harder for him to drag. Also, walls can kind of make things difficult when you have a Colossal, so, with positioning, getting over that. Otherwise, everything else just kind of bricks up. It's a very bricky list.
For my AD, I was keeping the same thought process, which was keep the bugs right in front, and then I was going to use the Master Tormentor as kind of a flanking unit to go around the edge of the building. Alright, turn 1. First of all, I forgot my admonition move with the Master Tormentor, so it kind of slowed me down a little bit there. I always forget that it has it. I don't know why I forget it, I just do. But the thought behind this list was that I would put Quicken up on the Legends, making them speed 9. I could use the bugs, the Sentinels, to shoot out some acid sprays and hopefully do some damage. Unfortunately, Gaston didn't bring very much infantry in this game, so it's kind of, a bad call for the list I ran. So, pretty much everything this first turn is just running anyways. But my hope is that I can get the bugs up to do, to put out the sprays, not the sprays, the AoEs, the acid AoEs, and then the Soldier will be able to take out some of the heavies, and the Hydra can just do hopefully some cleanup, and maybe take out a heavy or so. So as you can see, all the bugs pretty much ran, and then Makeda activates. She puts up Quicken on the Legends, and then she charges one of the beasts to get up the field. And then the Legends pretty much run, being speed 9. That puts them at 18 inches up the field, which is a pretty good speed. And then they're all base to base, which allows them to be +2 defense against melee.
So this is definitely one of the downsides of going second, is he was able to get a lot of stuff really far up there. He's got the Taskmaster, who's kind of running my flank. That model has a very long threat range. He's got the Legends, they're going to have very long threat range. He's got Quicken, which makes just a mess with the Hydra there. And it really, what all these long threat ranges do is they push me back, so that way, you want to go first because you want to run up as far as you can. Now you're going second, you're really kind of jammed up in your own zone. One of the things that I did that's a little bit different with this list compared to a lot of other Vyros lists is I actually have a Chimera in here. And this came out of a discussion I was having on Warmachine Hordes, where someone had said, hey, have you looked at Chimeras because they have the apparition, and they hit in the ballpark of Griffins. I kind of laughed it off a little bit, but the more and more I looked at it, the more and more interesting having just a one-for-one swap of a Griffin Chimera became for me. So one of the other comments we got at the last game especially was that you like it when I point out mistakes, and I made some good ones here. So what I ended up doing is jamming myself back, and I think I might have been better off taking a Griffin, going fleet and running it behind that wall to really make life difficult for the legends there. What I'm doing instead is I'm kind of making a little pocket, an idea being that they come in, they charge, and you distribute the damage across all the Griffins, but now I'm receiving a charge from the legends, which is going to hurt, I'm afraid.
Alright, looks like Gaston took a very cautious approach to the zone, and so now I'm trying to figure out what can I get into him to hopefully inflict some initial damage to either A, cause him to hold back, or divert maybe Imperatus to not come forward. My hope is to be able to get into the zone, into a good position in the zone this turn, and not have too much it's going to come back at me. So right now I'm kind of measuring out, trying to figure out where the legends are going to go, because the legends, I'm going to upkeep Quicken on them, so they'll be speed 9, and then they will be able to pretty much, let's see, speed 9 makes them charge 12, so they have anywhere from a 12.5 to 14-inch threat range, depending upon which one you talk to. So using proxy bases to figure out where people are going. First one out of the chute is Maracas, because he has the shortest, or I'm sorry, she has the shortest threat range at 12.5 with Quicken. And then I get the Mr. Stabby guy. He's going to go next, and the hope is that he is going to be able to get close enough to not take a free strike, but also get close enough to the one jack to be able to do some good damage. And then I got flags left, and he is pretty much just going to go in on the third jack right over there, missing the front guy, because I'm hoping to shoot that front guy again and do some damage to him. So going to advance him like that, and now it's just a matter of rolling out the dice and see what damage I can do. Nice thing about legends, they have a great mat. Their PNS isn't the greatest, but they do have Weapon Master, so that means they're rolling 4 dice on the charge. If there was a way I could boost their damage output, it would almost be insane with them. They do have Sidestep, which only benefits Maracas and Mr. Flags, who they're the only two that have the 2 attacks. So they're also the ones at the lowest PNS on their attacks, and they do have Sidestep, but the guy with the halberd, he does have I'm drawing a blank, but he does get to stab somebody if they move up, and if they move up and end their movement in his melee range. There's a name for the ability. I forget what it is right now. I'll probably remember it later. But so yeah, they moved in. They did as much damage as they could. Once again, I forgot my apparition move with the Master Tormentor. The Master Tormentor just ran up behind the building. I'm hoping I don't forget about it, but I may. Unfortunately, the legends did not kill any of the jacks. I think they did put a significant hurting on them, though, so that's a bonus. And then the one bug comes forward and shoots the one guy in the front, The range isn't the greatest. Next one moves up. Kind of a rinse and repeat, because I'm just trying to, you know, take out something before they can engage me. Because he does have quite a few lights in his list. So yeah, that was the thought process, is to use the bugs to soften up whatever's going to come in. Hopefully I could do enough damage. Light warjacks don't necessarily have the greatest of armor, so hopefully that'll help me out a little bit with the fact that I don't get the additional die on damage for them due to poison. But there is a Scather template that supposed to be out there. I don't remember it this time, but I think I remember it next time or something. And then the Hydra moves forward, puts up its own Animus, and mostly just because I know that his silly Colossal can shoot things. So I want to make sure that my stuff hopefully is a little safer, because he's going to be sitting back some. And then Makeda moves forward. She puts up Sandstorm on herself, which is the Desert Hydra's Animus. And that's pretty much my turn.
So just as I kind of mentioned last term, the Legends came straight in. They did a whole lot more damage than I'm comfortable with to the Griffins. And now that whole side of the table is gummed up. I'm not making forward progress there until I get rid of them all. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to Apparition with my Chimera. And when you're playing against Makeda, one of the things that's very dangerous about her, particularly with the Hydra, is that she can put Quicken on it. It then goes up to speed 7, so it can then run 14 inches, has a 2-inch reach, that's 16 inches, and then she can jackhammer it a bunch of times. 6 times, I guess, to be precise. That is a huge threat range on a Colossal, and it's a high power, and it's terrifying. But what Vyros has specifically into this matchup that's fantastic tech is Lock the Target. So he rolls in, he damages through the Arc Node, he damages the Hydra, and now it cannot run anymore. So that's exactly what we're doing here. I'm measuring out the Hydra's threat range. When it can't run, its maximum threat range is now 7 plus 2 is only 9 inches. And my Chimera actually, my threat range on that spell is 10 inches, so I can actually very safely go and hit him from out of his threat range. And then you have Sylys there to, you know, make the magic happen with the dice to make that spell that much more reliable. So having that happen for me, at least in this matchup, feels really, really big and really good. The other thing is I'm upkeeping Synergy for free. So what I'm going to try to do is, the Legends are obviously kind of a pain in the butt to kill, is start with my higher mat things like Vyros who can boost or Imperatus, and then use that to one, trigger Synergy for the Griffins to make it easier for them, and then to also kind of clear out the Legends and use the stuff that's better at hitting at them earlier in their Synergy chain. But again, I'm very not happy with myself I'm at the point where like nothing's moving forward on that flank, and that's very bad for me. The other thing I'm looking at doing is trying to get Synergy up to the point where I can send like a Griffon or two into those Aradus Sentinels up there and start locking them up, start doing some damage to them. But this is another mistake I'm making, where I go in with Vyros, he does a little swing, and then gets himself one of the Legends, gets Synergy +1, but then he repositions back. And what this unfortunately does for me is it moves the whole Synergy bubble back, because you got to be within his command range. And so when I do send a Griffin in there, I don't get the +3 anymore, and that's just a mistake on my part. Lock the Target happens, it goes off, it's perfect. So the Hydra is handled for this turn. And I know exactly how far up, thanks to the power of pre-measuring widgets, that I can move my army. So now we've got Imperatus going in there. He's going to go punk one of the guys and kill him off. Sidestep, take another swing, and get the second one of the Legends. So that's kind of looking good now, but it does kind of suck to have to pull, you know, a heavy that's of the value of Imperatus back to do this, and it's entirely my fault. now we have a Griffon going, and we have the synergy up to the point where I can clear out the last one. So that leaves me with 2 Griffons up. Have the 3 Arcanists so you can concentrate power on them. You can allocate them a little bit of focus. I give them a little bit with Vyros as well. So we're going to be good to go on there. The other option I have here is to actually start repairing my Griffons. All those Griffons are kind of chopped up. It's rather unfortunate, but it does happen. So now I do have the Magister going up. He's going to say no blast damage. He's going to say +2 defense as a protection for my Arcanists against the shooting of the bugs. So being on a hill with the +2 defense is now +4 defense. He's very, very difficult for them to hit. And then I'm also working to engage them with that Griffon. So he's going to go up. He's going to charge. And this is about the point where I'm like, oh great, I'm not getting my synergy bonus anymore. But even with all that, said and done, he's still, he does pretty good. I'm not disappointed at all in the amount of damage he does. You can see on Pokey's iPad there, he's taking some good chunks out of those guys. But it's not enough to finish one off. Maybe with synergy it could have been. But, it is what it is. So instead now I have Mechanik come over. He repairs the damaged Griffon. The damaged Griffon goes ahead and heals his force field a little bit. So we're getting a lot of that damage back that the Legends had inflicted on me, kind of shoring up there. The other thing that's a little bit questionable is, what do you do with Helios here? And what's eventually going to happen is Helios is just going to kind of scoot up. And it's a little bit of a bait, and this is another mistake I make, which is just unfortunate, is that he can actually get the Soldier to Helios. So what I do is I put up the +2 defense and Poltergeist with the thought of that, the Hydra is going to come in and spray me because he can't charge me. What it would have been better to do is actually put up the +1, the 1 inch, the repulsor field, where then every time he hits me, he gets bumped back an inch. So he'll only get 1 strike on Helios rather than relying on my opponent actually missing in melee, because I got too preoccupied on the ranged of the Hydra, thinking that I had handled its melee capacity.
Alright, turn 3. The Legends kind of did what I was thinking they were going to do, which was die a horrible death. One unfortunate thing is that Gaston was able to cast some spell that doesn't allow my Hydra to charge, or do some other cool stuff that I needed to do. Because if I could, I would be all over that stupid Hydra at this present time. Or not his. Is that his name? My Hydra would be all over whatever his Colossal's name is. Maybe it's a Hydra. I don't know. Helios thing. I don't know. Whatever that thing is. But unfortunately, I don't do that. I can't get that done. So I kind of advance it forward and start spraying his objective. And unfortunately, dice rolls are being dice rolls. I can't quite get the job done. I just go through my 5 sprays and that's it. But I do have a backup plan, which will come in a little bit later on in the game. And so right now, what you can see, he also put up Sandstorm because, well, Sandstorm's helpful, especially if he's planning on shooting me. So I take the Beast Handlers, they advance to do their thing, which is, I guess, Enrage, Condition, and Medicate. So yeah, I end up medicating the 1 bug. I end up enraging the Soldier and conditioning the Hydra. And then that was pretty much them. So once again, I forgot the apparition move of the Master Tormentor. Right now I'm measuring I moved up Makeda because I'm going to probably end up casting Carnage. And it has to be with any models that are in my command range, or control range. And end up casting Quicken on the Sentinel. because speed 3 bugs are not very fast, but you make them speed 5, and it should be able to get to where it needs to go to. So activating the one soldier, Sentinel, I mean, and it ends up swinging on the one jack that's in their face. And unfortunately, I think my dice rolls are not the greatest, so I don't think I actually finish it off. I think I'd max out the Sentinel, but then again, Sentinels aren't melee bugs. They're meant more for ranged against living targets. So that's kind of a bummer, but it looks like it does end up finishing it off. And then the next one moves forward and ends up shooting the other jack that's out in the front all by himself. He's in range, so I boost it to hit, boost the damage. Don't think I really do too much damage to it. Actually, I miss it, which is unfortunate. So it's like half damage, like POW 7 against it. It's like POW 16, armor 16, so it's not even really going to do too much damage even if I roll really high. But it puts up its Animus of Swarm, which gives it +2 defense. And now I'm activating the Soldier. I'm having him charge because he's been enraged. He's got Quicken. He's got Carnage covering over the Hydra. Unfortunately, I was only able to get within the reach range because, well, it's still not that fast. And I missed. Believe it or not, I missed. And that pretty much sealed the deal for the Soldier, and probably also for the Desert Hydra. And if those two fall this turn, then it's probably going to be a done game. But you never know, so let's. I'm just going to wait and see how the turn finishes out. I'm going to take the Master Tormentor, have it move around the corner, hopefully lock up one of the light jacks. We'll make a swing on the light jack, maybe do a little bit of damage, maybe not. But got to do something to keep those guys back, because I really don't want them up in my face.
So I think the most important thing there is I dodged a huge bullet with the Sentinel coming in missing and getting poltergeisted away. That is a big deal. So now it's a question, it's obviously going to be feat turn. I'm kind of working out what does it take for a Helios to kill a Hydra. And the answer is it's pretty close, even with, the synergy. So I'm going to want to give him a little bit of help. The downside to my previous turn's mistakes kind of cascading here is that Imperatus is way out of position to be any help whatsoever. So it's all going to come down to my, my plucky Chimera, my Griffins, and my Helios. What I'm looking at planning on doing is putting some early damage on the Hydra where possible. Obviously he has a damaged Sentinel up there that should be hopefully easy pickings for the Griffins. And I'm looking to kind of get my licks off of that. I'm also looking to do a concentrated power on the Griffin that's hidden behind that orange tree at the bottom, another concentrated power onto the Helios, and then third one, I believe, on the top Griffin, who's by that little smoke cloud. He did run his annoying little Weapon Master solo with the whip, so we're going to go ahead and work on triggering some synergy off of that person. And I'm also going to learn from my mistakes, and I'm going to make sure everyone stays inside my synergy bubble. Additionally, this is going to be a feat turn for me. I know people talk about how Vyros' feat is kind of weak relative to the type of army that he wants to bring. But if you're running, a swarm of light jacks, inevitably you're going to have a turn where you're going to commit them, and you're going to lose 2 or 3 of them. And being able to use those repositions on models like Imperatus, who are very high value, lets you do a lot of interesting tricks where you can send Imperatus in, kill something, feat, jam up with a Griffon, and then they got to kill the Griffon to get to Imperatus, and that lets Imperatus back out of threat ranges, you know, provided you pre-measure everything correctly. So I think there's good things that you can do there with Vyros. So between doing some bashing, we managed to be up to Synergy 2 now. We go ahead, we kill the Taskmaster, put the Chimera onto the Hydra. Also making, and now I'm just spilling models everywhere. That's awesome. Oh, 2D terrain, where are you? So going ahead, we have the one mechanic coming up. He's putting concentrated power onto Helios. I also have concentrated power onto the Griffon. So we're sending the Griffon in first. He's going after the damaged Aradus Sentinel. He is swinging over a wall, which is a little bit unfortunate, but what can you do? So he's just going to hack away at him. First, you know, successful hit. But I believe I am eventually defeated by the wall, and I miss one of my other swings. So don't quite manage to kill the bug. But I do get my synergy chain up to the point of being able to send in Helios. My hope and my goal with sending in Helios after the Chimera was basically damage efficiency, where now I'm swinging at POW 25, 26, something like that. So I should be taking large chunks out very quickly. And the reason why I want to do it that way is so that way I have an attack left over to put into the bug. Unfortunately, what happens dice-wise is it takes all of my attacks to kill the Hydra. So, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I just took his, you know, biggest threat off the table. But it is not as efficient as I would have preferred. So now I'm sending just, you know, my poor little Griffon in onto his Sentinel. So he's walking in there, he's, what, a POW 13, 15, POW 18? So dice off 1 is pretty reasonable. So he's just, you know, he's swinging in there, he just walks on in, you know, pops him, buys 3 attacks. And the amazing irony of this is that he actually leaves the bug in on 1 health. So that's one of those ones where, you know, if I had just gotten that extra attack, you know, killed the Hydra that much more efficiently, then, you know, what can you do? I'm sorry, he leaves it on 2 health. Still pretty ugly. Otherwise, we're just moving Imperatus up, keeping him safe, and we're going to save that feat and use it to move him around.
Alright, well, the Hydra's gone, which is unfortunate. The Soldier's still alive, but I think barely hanging in there. And this is pretty much where Gaston had hit the gas and come right across the table at me. One of his light jacks stayed back and was able to take out the Master Tormentor and re-engage both of my Sentinels. So now my caster is pretty much staring down his Colossal, and it's not fun. Not fun at all. So yeah. So now it's I got to try to figure out a way to pull this list out. So I'm just kind of going into the tank, thinking about how I'm going to play my turn. This list is it's kind of an interesting list, and I'm probably going to make some changes to the list, hoping that I can get it to a point to where it's going to be a little more, you know, be able to use the Hydra some, because I like the model, I really do. I just kind of wish it could do more, or it did more. But I think I'm gonna probably tweak this list and see how this list works out, and you know, with some minor changes. One of the changes I think I'd like to see in this list would be adding an infantry unit, maybe dropping one of the Sentinels for an infantry unit, and then see how that goes from there. So right now, to catch you up on what's happening in the game, the Soldier is missing an aspect, so that's why he has the unhappy token out there. And the Sentinel moved up and over the wall and was trying to beat on the one jack. Then the other one moves over the wall so he can beat on both of those jacks. And yes, it is facing the wrong direction because I had to turn it around. And something happened where that jack was... Oh, because Gaston popped his feet. So every time I kill a model, one of his models gets to move, or something along those lines, and he turned the one jack, so I wasn't him in the back anymore. So now that I'm using ranged beasts for melee beasts, it's just it's going to be kind of a sad day. All the beast handlers ended up enraging all my beasts. And now I'm trying to figure out how to progress. My original thought was maybe charge in and try to kill off one of his jacks, just so I can, I guess, be closer into the fray, get a sidestep or something. So, end up taking both my swings on the one jack that's sitting there. Kind of wished it. Still wish I had the Hydra in this list. And this is where I go through and I take my second swing on the jack, finishing it off. I get a sidestep, so I sidestep into the Hydra. And this is where Gaston starts to tell me that he reminds me that my caster has Jackhammer, so why not use the enraged soldier to just Jackhammer on his Hydra. So that's what I do. I just cast Jackhammer through it, and with it being enraged, it still does some damage. So I'm just trying to do as much as I can, but unfortunately the dice weren't with me. Not as much as they should have been anyways. And then I activate the bug, and I think he ends up knocking out a side, almost taking out the Colossal. So yeah, he gets his initial 3 swings, and I'm just going to buy an additional 3 because he has if I can't kill the Colossal, he has his, that's going to probably beat me in the face. He has his Imperatus, it's right there, it's probably going to come in and beat me in the face. So right now it's just kind of a moral victory to see if I can cripple this thing enough to where it's not the thing that finishes me off. But I was able to kill it in the end.
So you get to see the Makeda Jackhammer Dream, which one of my theories is once you hit a certain POW, in this game it's really all about number of attacks. And adding in 6 attacks on top of every attack that a War Beast can do is huge and phenomenal and terrifying. And everyone should be scared of Skorne. But you also got to see, particularly in this, the counterplay of me being able to move Imperatus around as my things died. Particularly, unfortunately I lost my Helios, but I think it's a pretty worthy trade. So now what I'm doing is I'm going in, triggering some synergy, and I'm doing my best to actually not kill anything. And the reason for that is I don't want to give focus back to Makeda, because we're basically just going to go kill her this turn. So Griffon comes up, he does his thing, good to go there, synergy +1. Vyros comes up, he does his thing, synergy +1 again. He just pops the Sentinel. Yeah, Sentinel. That one's totally healthy, so we're not too worried about that. So we're synergy +2 now, the Griffon comes around, and he's going to boost a headbutt into Makeda to knock her down, which will also get you up to synergy +3. Makeda is now auto hits, and Imperatus is going to get concentrated power from the Arcanist, walk on in, and do Imperatus things to her. So hopefully that was educational, and thank you all for watching.
Alright, Afterthoughts. I I really don't like red. I think that's pretty much about the biggest part. I just really don't like facing up against red. It's either that I really should probably think about what list I'm going to play up against red and not just try to see how a list works. But other than that, for my list, I think my list was a decent list. I do think there needs to be some changes. It would be nice if it had some infantry to it. Something other than just the legends and a support infantry. So it's going to probably have to have a change. And like I said, I'm probably going to end up dropping one of the Sentinels for a unit, maybe Keltari, Annihilators, and see how that fares, if it works a little better. But let me know what you guys think about the list, what changes that I could potentially make, and if you guys have any thoughts for other casters you guys would like to see, maybe alternate lists, go ahead and either post up in the comments or on our Advanced Maneuvers Facebook page. Hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for watching.